All right, here we go. Another episode of Touch and Tips.
Is this 9, 10?
Episode 9 in the books.
Approaching double digits.
Yeah, I had to fish out some 9s. I don't got too many 9s.
All right.
I think I only got 3 pairs of 9s. But
well, I wore my finest pair of sandals just to annoy you.
yes,
Yeah.
I see. I saw a girl on I don't know, Instagram Reels or something today. I can't believe I didn't send it to you, but she was just like ranting on like men who wear flip-flops and hating on it, and I was like, I love this lady.
Well, fuck her.
And then like at the end, she like stuffs her face full of fucking Cheetos. And I'm like,
ew.
You're just like lost, like, oh, you know what I mean? Like,
that was a 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
like you're
moment.
talking about like how unattractive somebody is, and then you're like, here's my fucking face full of fucking red dye number 20.
Yeah.
You know?
Let me just shove all these hot Cheetos in my fucking eat hole.
Nah, she wasn't a hot Cheeto eater.
Yeah, no, she wasn't one of those. All right. I mean, you can read into that however you want.
Yeah. Yeah, we got another Brown student incident on our hands right now. So,
anyway.
Yeah, we're trying to watch our mouths a little bit because Brennan's got his brood upstairs.
I
So
do. Kids are here. We're going to the beach afterwards, doing all the fatherly shit.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
What beach are you guys going to?
Sagamore, the Cape. It's like,
oh, yeah?
Yeah. We have like a little house out there, so yeah, it's cool. Kids like it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be fucking 95 today. It's just going to be brutal.
They give you a reason to get in the ocean.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
In the ocean.
Yeah, it's fucking cold as fuck in that ocean. Yeah. I was never a beach guy, though, growing up. I fucking, because I had, like, the public beach, like, experience. Now, like, this place is, like, my father-in-law's fucking whole culmination of his entire life was buying this fucking place. And it's a private beach. It's fucking sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but dude, growing up, like, going to the fucking public beach, like, we used to roll down to Mesquamaket, and I'm from fucking Connecticut. So that was, like, you'd have to get up at fucking 5 a.m., fucking drive your ass all the way there. By the time you got there, it was still fucking cold outside because the sun hadn't even gone up. And then you got to, like, fist fight a bunch of fucking people, like, you know, just fat, ugly human beings, like, mobbing onto the beach. You have to, like, get your 4x4 spot, like, fucking, set up.
You got to, like, send the scout team out first.
Oh, yeah.
To claim the land.
Yeah,
and then you
well, that
start
was
bringing
just
all the stuff.
You had to, like, show up, and then just everyone disperse and be like, find an area, you know, and then stand in it and yell, you know? Oh, it was fucking terrible, dude. I fucking hate the beach. Like, when, like, just regular, like, Gen Pop beach is terrible.
Yeah, I was never a fan growing up. Like, when my family moved to Florida, we, like, instantly became poor.
Yeah.
And it was like anything we could do as a family for free was number one thing to do.
Yeah.
And I hated going to the beach. They would drag me there, like, every weekend.
Yep.
And then to make it even worse, I don't know how... I don't even think it took that long. My stepdad evolved into a nut hugger wearer individual.
Like a legit Speedo?
Yeah. Yeah. And I would be like, dude, what the hell are we doing right now?
There's entirely too much thigh.
Yeah, like if anybody sees me here right now, it's over.
You're
it's
roasted.
over for me.
God damn it, Dad, I'm in a new school.
Yeah, and then everybody in my family got into collecting seashells. Like, we just had like 5-gallon buckets of like all these seashells sorted and everything. I don't know what the hell they thought we were gonna do with them, but I don't know. They could have turned it into some high-end jewelry business or something.
Yeah. Well, I think they're using it for I saw some, like, my wife watches HGTV all the fucking time. Now, like, they're using them for like the fucking the chimneys and shit. Like, what the fuck are they called? Like, I don't know. They like make them into like the fucking masonry.
Put them in the mortar. In the grout.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. That's my wife's fucking shit. She's always on HGTV watching that fucking shit. It's annoying as fuck.
I mean, it's probably better than having Friends on in the background.
That's true, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. At least Friends, there's like some like hard set of nipples every like 30 seconds to take your mind off of the world going down the drain.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know. If my wife was watching HGTV all the time, I'd be like, she's going to be spending so much money on crafts.
Yeah, well, that's just it. I feel like she's constantly preparing for like a fucking house renovation that's never coming. It's like, stop. What are you preparing for? You know, are you taking notes? Actually, she was watching that Say Yes to the Dress show, like the fucking wedding dress show. She was watching that shit for like a decade after we got married. It's like, are you going to leave me? Like, you trying to get like a second shot at this shit?
What are you so... Did you not like the first one?
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck?
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Kids are upstairs though. They're good. My kids are well behaved, so they'll be sitting there and just fucking chilling.
Yeah, they were chilling.
Yeah. I don't fuck around with my kids. I feel like a lot of people do fuck around with their kids, and I don't appreciate that, you know?
Yeah.
Set boundaries, you know? Fucking tell them when things are appropriate and when they're not.
Yeah, I feel like we've talked about this before, so I won't get into it again. But like the having your kid order at the table when they don't know what to do, it just drives me crazy.
Just in general, like
I'm not part of your kid's etiquette training process.
Well, that's just it. In general, just have your kids' etiquette like good to go before you go into the restaurant. Like there should be a pep talk. You know, like you should only need one. I don't think I've ever had to tell my kids more than once, like, hey, just so you know, we're going into a restaurant, so keep your fucking mouth shut, you know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. People are just fucking wild with their kids these days, man.
You know what? Another thing that happened to me this week where somebody like, it was in this towny, like this is like a bar with food. You know what I mean? Like we don't have a high chair. We don't even have a kids menu in print. I mean, we have buttons for kids stuff, but like,
They're like ask menu items. Like, do you have kids chicken tenders? Like, yeah, we can do that.
We do.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it's like the vibe is like this isn't really like a place for kids. You know what I mean? Like there's like seasoned auto mechanics in here complaining about their rough and rugged life. Yeah. You know, like there's guys that raise emus in here. You know, like this isn't like
read the room.
Yeah. So like the guy they got kids at the table and he like tries to hand me the kids like drinkware to like refill. Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to touch that. And he just looked at me like I was the biggest jerk in the world. I was like, I'll bring you some cups of water and you can fill those up. Yeah. And like, I don't know, I felt bad at the end because the dude actually hooked it up like for that spot. Like you don't get the hookup too often. He hooked it up. So I don't know if he liked the sass that I gave back to him, but I was like, you can keep your bacteria-ridden household items the fuck away from me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, or just like having your kid blow their fucking nose in like a bunch of paper napkins, then like the parent just handing them to you like, here, take those. It's like, no, I don't want to fucking take those.
Yeah, that hasn't happened to me in a while.
Hell.
They do leave. They'll get left on the table, but at least you can like do some type of like not
sweep situation.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, it's wild. So the people that do crazy shit with their kids when they go out.
Yeah.
It's obviously always the ones that have never worked in any type of like, you know, hospitality, retail, military, anything that like instills like general well-being for other people.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually just shitty parents. Yeah. I mean, we work at a spot where, you know, we have like a bit of like I wouldn't say like a late night crew, but we have like two different services where it's kind of like you have your 6 to 8 like time, and then you have like your 9 to like the last stretch of the hour.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times these people have like fucking their 4-year-old out at 11 o'clock at night on a fucking Tuesday. It's like, what the fuck are you doing with this kid? Like, this kid is just going to be fucked up for the rest of his life. You know, it's just get him home and get him to bed. You know, it's like, I don't understand some parents. They're just fucking insane to me.
They're like, if I leave him at home, he's going to read the Columbine Manifesto. At least I got my eye on what he's doing right now.
I'm just saying, like, if you're bringing your fucking 4-year-old, you know, your 5-6-year-old out to dinner and keeping him out till 11:30 on a fucking school night, it's like, dude, you're just populating the world with the next generation of ignorant fucking idiots, you know?
Yeah.
It's like this kid's going to be doing the same shit in 30 years with his fucking stupid kid at 6 years old, you know?
There's only one little Wayne that gets signed in the 6th grade.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. Just it's fucking so.
If your elementary school kid is up past 11 o'clock, you're just like training a battle rapper.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's fucking 8 Mile, man. Anyway, yeah.
I saw a thing about I don't know. I think it's Vlad TV that comes up on my stuff all the time. But Tony Yayo, they interviewed him. He's like 50 Cent's hype man. And he was telling this story about how like Suge Knight came to try to intimidate him back in the day. Yeah. And like Eminem just didn't give a fuck. Like he was out there like ready to fight and shit. And they're like, yo, M.
Yeah.
These guys are serious, bro. Like you need to fucking calm down.
Yeah.
Like,
do you ever the Vanilla Ice story about Suge Knight? Yeah. Hanging him out by his fucking ankle out of a hotel window. Yeah. Yeah, they didn't fuck around back then.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so crazy, like, all these, like, especially the stuff with Diddy coming out and everything. It's like, this has been, like, this little, like, Sons of Anarchy, like, you know what I mean?
Well,
like,
hey, I mean, in hindsight, now you're looking at it, and, like, at least Suge Knight wasn't butt-fucking dudes, you know?
Who knows?
That's true. That's true. I don't know. He doesn't strike me as a butt fucker. Diddy, like when you said it, I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Remember when Diddy had that fucking reality show where he sent motherfuckers over the bridge for cheesecake? Like, that's 100% like, after they came back with the cheesecake, somebody had to suck his dick. I guarantee it. Like, that's 1,000% how that went down.
Dude,
I want to see the cutting room floor of that episode. Like,
it's so funny that like you brought that up, and in my head, I'm like, yeah, they went over. They had to go get breast milk from a Cambodian immigrant. And it's like the Chappelle Show skit has totally supplemented whatever. Yeah. That's my Berenstein Bears.
Gotcha.
Like it's been turned into a movie with Shaq playing a genie.
Yeah. That is a movie. I looked that up. That is a movie. Shaq was a genie in a movie.
Nah.
He was, I'm telling you.
Or it's either Shaq or Sinbad. It's Sinbad I'm telling you, the Shaq genie thing is like the
Kazam.
Butterfly effect.
No, he's in a movie called Kazam where he's a genie. We have it fucked up. There's something else like where maybe it is Sinbad is in it, but like there's another, or people thought it was Sinbad, but it was Shaq. But Shaq is in a movie called Shazam, and it's a fucking
Kazam.
Well, no, this is Shazam. I'm looking at
Shazam.
it. Yeah, Shazam. A genie named... No, you're right. No, it is Kazam. You know. So a genie named Kazam, Shaq O'Neal, has been sealed up for whatever. Who gives a fuck? But it's a fucking movie.
So what about... Look up the Sinbad genie movie.
Sinbad genie movie.
I'm telling you. Then that's the wormhole.
Somewhere in a parallel universe, Sinbad's long-forgotten genie movie is uncovered. Yeah, so Sinbad is the one that wasn't in a genie movie.
And then Sinbad is also, like, dead in a parallel universe, too. Like, somebody started, like, a internet rumor that he died. Yeah. I think he was, like, one of the first victims of people realizing they could update, like, Wikipedia.
Yeah.
And they were just like, nah, let's
just make him dead.
Let's kill Sinbad. Yeah. What was Sinbad in that? Like, he just had the Sinbad show?
Well, he was in that
some kind of like
he was
comedy.
He was in that fucking like 90s sitcom called like different. God damn it, what the fuck is it called? Different Worlds. I think he was in that. It was basically like the what was the comp? You know what it was? It was Saved by the Bell for black people. It was different worlds. Yeah. But it was like a black cast of like college students kind of thing.
I can't even think of like what he sounds like talking. Like all that's coming up is like Ice-T's voice.
I don't want to do it.
I can't. I only have like one pale skinned black dude voice in my head. Like that's it.
Yeah. I don't want to do an impression of his voice because he has a very stereotypical voice, and a white guy making that voice is not going to look great on television. Just saying. Yeah.
Like, we can't say Columbine and this in the first 10 minutes of the show.
If you just clipped it off and like put that as like our Instagram reel, people would be like, "Yo, what is up with this guy?" You know?
What's even worse? I was like, "What show was Sinbad in?" I was like, "Hanging with Mr. Cooper." And it's like,
no, different black guy.
That's Mark Cooper. That's not Sinbad at all.
Yeah. Then he had like that moment in time though, where he was like kind of like in all those Disney movies and shit. Like he was like the Secret Service agent for like the first kid or something.
Oh, yeah. See, my brain just keeps going. He's like, nah, he was in Law and Order.
Yeah, Jingle All the Way, too. He's the bad guy in Jingle All the Way. I don't know.
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We're digging for his IMDb. This is what everybody wanted to know. So everyone wanted to know about Sinbad.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a nice transition. Like, nobody wants to know about Sinbad. And, like, if somebody asks you to write a menu for him, nobody wants to hear what you think about that menu.
What do you mean? What?
Like if somebody, we're going to circle back to the industry.
All right. Okay. Gotcha.
Nobody cares about fucking Sinbad, right? And I'm saying if you ask me to write a menu for you, I don't care what you have to say in retort to that menu.
Right, yeah.
You write the menu. You tell me how to make these drinks. You give me the procedures.
Yeah.
And if not, then I'll do it, and I'm not going to come and meet you
we're not
middle.
Consulting.
Yeah. Like, either, like, tell me how you want your restaurant run or just tell me to run your restaurant for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Otherwise, I'm, like, uninterested at this point in my life.
Yeah, especially if you have, like, an ownership group that is, like, kind of super, like, focused. Like, if you're in a restaurant group that has, like, 30 different restaurants, usually what'll end up happening is, like you said, they're just going to, like, come down from yon to high and be like, this is what we're doing, and this is what you're going to fucking do, you know? Which, whatever, I don't give a fuck.
But they paid some sort of like consulting service to like put that all together for them, or some type of district manager or something to trickle that all down to the everyday bartender.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and now we're talking about in a situation at more of like a mom and pop setup.
Yeah.
Where they're like asking you to write the menu, and it's like, listen, this is like a $1,000 fee that you would pay somebody else to make happen for you, and you wouldn't be sitting here going back and forth with them about it. So,
but yeah, I mean, to me, it's just, you know, if you're a owner of like a small restaurant group or whatever, and you impart that duty upon somebody, it's like, I didn't sign up to be a collaborator. You know, like if I wanted to be a collaborator, I would be a part owner in your business. I don't want to be a part owner in your business. I want to work here.
Yeah.
So either, like you said, either A, just tell me what the fuck you want, and I'll fucking make that happen, and I don't give a fuck because I don't care, or just give me the reins and I'll just do whatever I want to do, which I think is cool, and people are coming in here and asking for or shit like that. You know, it's like, you know, especially if you have like an absentee owner where it's kind of like, I'm the one who's here. I know what's going on. Do you know what's going on? Because I haven't seen you in 3 years.
You're the boots on the ground that knows what's cool in that place.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're the one that with the most feel, in my opinion, for it.
Yeah.
So, like, what are you doing from a Zoom call 1,000 miles away trying to tell me what's up? You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, there was an instance where you know, there was a drink on the menu and the owner didn't like the name of it. Well, the problem is that drink with that name was the most popular drink of the previous summer. It outsold everything. It was literally the most popular drink on the menu. But like, he was just like, well, I don't like that name. I don't think it's a good name. We're going to change it. It's like, well, with that name, it was literally the number one seller in the entire fucking list.
Yeah.
So like, what are you hoping to improve upon? Like, sure, you write the checks, man. It's your fucking rent that you're paying, but then don't waste my time. Like, it took me time to figure this shit out. If you don't want to use that, you know, if you don't want me to do that, then don't have me do it. Like, I have better things I could be doing, like taking my kids to the fucking beach, you know?
Or like all of this for like $3 an hour.
Yeah, well,
You know what I mean? Like, it's like for $3 an hour and the platform for me to make tips off of like the environment that I'm able to sustain and nurture while I'm here. Like, to me, it's just not worth it. Like, you're like, I don't know, like having your employees write that drink menu for free, to me, is just like preying on their willingness to be like a good employee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're taking their creative content and you're monetizing it.
Right.
And you're collecting 100% of the profits off of this thing, and they're only getting at best 20% of the tips back off of it.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't seem to jive with me anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I used to love volunteering drinks for cocktail menus, and now it's like the last thing that I want to do.
Yeah.
Like, pay me. Like, put the money in my hand. Give me a percentage of the cocktail sales. Like, do something other than just like act like it's so cool that I got to write these drinks.
Right.
Like, even having my name, like, I've had my name on a menu before, and it's just, it's the more I get away from it, the more of a fucking idiot I feel like. It's like, dude, like, you gave everything away for free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to me, it just wasn't worth it. And to further that point, it's like, you know, I think that you know, we've both been in this same position of like writing cocktails and writing menus and stuff like this. And I think maybe I had like a little more leeway than you did, and I was still frustrated with it. You know, so to hear that you know, the reins have been constricted even more, and there's just even less being given back. Like, I don't know. I would just advise against it.
Yeah.
You know, like, I just want to put the bottles where they go.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, tell me how to make the drinks and let me arrange like the most fluid thing that I can have going. And like, that's where I'll meet you in the middle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll make sure this place is clean, organized, stocked, put together, all that. But I'm all done giving my brain away for free.
Yeah. Well, it's a frustrating thing to be a part of too, when like there is like so many different, like, you know, external forces pulling in all different directions. You know, like, it's like, I have a manager and my manager says X. I have a regional manager. My regional manager says X and Y. My then owner says, well, not X or Y, Z, you know? So it's like, I'm just sitting there like, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing right now, you know?
And like, meanwhile, I'm like sitting on the floor of my shower thinking about this in my off time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I'm on the internet researching, like, you know, fucking whatever butter washing bourbon, and meanwhile, like somewhere in the background anyway, somebody's basically like, we're just never using that idea. And it's like, well, then just tell me that, you know, like then I'll just not even bother, you know, like, yeah.
I think it just circles back to like, I don't know, like if you don't want to burn your people out, like you need like a good infrastructure in place.
I think you just need communication, like communication and expectations. I think that is paramount to everything, you know. Like I said, if you want me to work at a fucking TGI Fridays, like, you know, where there's like on the menu like a fucking whatever, a coconut watermelon breezer, beautiful. That's what I'll do. I'll make table tent drinks and throw them out to guests. I don't give a fuck, you know? But don't like have me exist in this like purgatory where it's like you kind of want that, but you also kind of want like craft cocktails, but then you also don't want to pay any money for any like more like high-end spirits or anything, but you don't also want to pay any money for any liqueurs. You also don't want me infusing anything. It's like, what do you want me to do? Yeah. Like, if you want me to make a Midori sour, man, I'll make a Midori sour. Like, I don't give a fuck, you know? But don't have me, like, think that I'm operating outside of this box and then all of a sudden at the last second draw me back into it, you know? Yeah. I don't want to have to recreate. I don't want to have to come to you with 9 drinks and then have you be like, 6 of them are fucking, we're not going to be able to get the ingredients for. 2 of them we just don't like. And then this one, which was the most basic fucking drink that you made, that's like the one that we want, you know? It's like...
Yeah, like they pick like the filler.
Yeah, exactly.
You threw in, like.
Yeah, the one where at the last second you were just like, I don't know. You know what it is?
Maybe 8's not enough. Let me just put this 9th one on that I'm iffy about. And they're like, we love number 9.
Well, that's just it. Actually, usually the number 9 is is like the token vodka drink where you're just like, all right, well, I don't know how cool or interesting this drink is, but people will drink it. And then at the end they're like, oh, we love that. It's like, all right, well, here I am, you know.
Yeah, you make like some like watermelon jalapeno mezcal kind of thing, and they're like, I like it better with the vodka.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They're like, this is great with Malibu.
Yeah,
you're like, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Let me just go take a trip with my 6-shooter into the bathroom real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good thing. It's a good thing this drink took me all of like 4 minutes of mental power, and then the other 7 drinks I came up with literally took like weeks of research. Yeah.
You know what I have found that's an interesting point that I'll throw on at the end. I feel like some of like the best drinks that I've come up with, or most successful drinks that I've come up with, have come out of like either like management or ownership, like just taking like a bad deal from the liquor rep.
Yeah. Like forcing your hand. Yeah.
Not for. Yeah, well, just like we're sitting on this and we're sitting on this, and it's like, how do you make these two things work together?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the one drink that I'll still fucking stand on my hill and murder everybody about. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. That came from 2 things sitting around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I went downstairs in the liquor room and I was like, we got so much of both of these fucking things. Like, how do you sell them together?
Yeah.
And like that's where the genesis of that drink came from.
Was that Aperol and tequila?
Yeah, we were sitting on a ton of añejo.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like maybe that had just been building up because they were getting like bonus
deals.
Yeah, like they're getting like a buy 2 cases of platinum.
Yeah.
Get this or something. It was back before like Casamigos really took off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're sitting on this añejo before we even took the quarantine break.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I was just sitting around and I was like, all right, let's figure this out, you know, and it's crazy how stuff like that works. Like even the spot that I work at now, like I feel like half of the drinks that came onto the spring list were just like, how do we get this shit out of here?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's more of, I think, where I'm at in like my career. Like I'll tell you how to throw your overstocked shit together and get it out there.
Have it taste good and fucking get it out the door.
Like, oh, you ordered 2 cases of Jim Beam by mistake. All right.
Yeah.
Let's decimate the stock.
Right.
You know, like I kind of take pride in being able to do that.
It's actually probably the most satisfying feeling too. Like opening up that last bottle and just being like, we did it. We got rid of it. But I feel like it just never ends, though. You trick yourself into believing that, like, you know, one day I'm going to have a completely optimized liquor closet, and it's going to be like everything in there is going to be something I need. And then the moment you get rid of that last bottle, that's when like a case of like agave loco comes in. And you're like, what the fuck even is this?
Vodquilla.
Yeah, exactly. You know, It's like, what the fuck, man? I just got done getting rid of the other shit, you know?
We're literally down to like our last 7 cans of that Whaler's Cucumber Drift lime seltzer.
Yeah.
And we've been selling it for like $3 for like almost the entire time, almost like a year now.
Yeah.
You know, they're probably expired. I don't know how long a fucking fake vodka soda thing lasts. You know what I mean? And so I'm the one that checks the liquor order in. You know what I mean? It's a solo shift for me. So I'm just there by myself. The liquor order comes in, checking stuff off. And I'm like, that has to be a mistake. There's no fucking way that
nobody ordered this, did they? Yeah.
But they did, because basically, like, what happened was, I came out to this place. We had a general manager. She went out on maternity leave. They left me with handling the ship. Then she came back, and then she essentially kind of had an awakening that she'd rather have more time with the family.
Yeah.
So she
I saw that coming. Yeah.
And I feel like management, ownership, whatever, they were just like, we're trying to get down to like a complete cost-cutting type of environment, so we're just going to take over this thing.
Yeah.
So really, like, now you have like an owner that is never here, never working any shifts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of only seeing the place at maybe like 11 o'clock when he stops in, just to make sure the place isn't burning down.
Yeah.
Like, now he's doing all the ordering. So essentially, it's like he took her spreadsheet and my spreadsheet and put them together, and is now just like, okay, we're out of this, we're out of this, we're out of this.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, we were out of these 10 things on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
Well, that's just it.
Fuck, why do we have this again?
Well, he
like,
sees your efforts to be like, you're trying to get rid of this shit actively, but then he sees it on the administrative side.
This is selling
like crazy.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of it. Here, let's get more of it, you know? Yeah. So, yeah.
That's does anybody, do you carry redemption at your place?
No.
Like, I don't fucking understand the obsession that we have with this product. It's fucking trash.
Yeah.
The rye, the whiskey, the bourbon, whatever
is
it is.
Is there an obsession with it now?
It fucking sucks. No, I don't know. We just keep.
Oh,
I
okay.
keep trying to get rid of it, and we keep bringing it back in. I'm like, and we only have the rye now. Like, we started out having both of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we got the point that we don't need the whiskey or the bourbon, whatever one it was that we had. But we keep ordering the rye. I'm like, bro, like, it's such. We have like 3 ryes. Like, just get a better bottle.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah. So that's always been my gripe with the place I'm at, or whatever, and used to be at, is that we have all of these bottles that are just like so like not interesting at all, and it's just like, and we have so many of them, and it's like we have such a limited amount of space, and it's like, why do we have 2 bottles of dark rum, and neither one of them are cool? So it's like, who has ever come into your bar and been like, I want Myers, and then you say, oh, we don't have Myers, we got Goslings, and been like, and walked out the door? When does that ever happen?
Yeah, if my memory serves me correctly, that place does have like a lot of they have like a decorative shelf filler from like 15 years ago. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, like, or
Mount Gay, Myers, Gosling.
Yeah.
Like, they're nice to have if you're trying to like showcase that you have a complete bar.
Yeah.
But it's like the hipsters that are drinking rum nowadays, they're not drinking that
first,
kind of rum.
First of all, they're not drinking any of that shit. And then second of all, if you are going to have those things, if you need to have a generic dark rum, pick one and fucking get rid of the other one. Like, there's no reason to have 2.
Yeah.
You know?
Unless you have some type of like Mai Tai or some rum punch, Planters punch, something like that on the menu.
Yeah, if you're like that spot, then sure.
It's forcing your hand on Myers.
Yeah, if you're a tiki bar, have as many dark rums as you want.
Why can't I think of the name? What's the mule drink with Goslings? Dark and Stormy.
Yeah,
like, I can see sticking, like, holding fast and being like, we're keeping Goslings.
Yeah, then get rid of Myers.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying, like, that, but that's just like a microcosm of everything they do, where it's like all of the gins we have. It's like, we don't have any cool gins, we just have every single generic gin, you know? It's like Bombay Sapphire, Tanqueray, Beefeater, fucking, it's like, just pick 2 of those and then get like 1 cool bottle, you know? Get like Monkey, what the fuck is it? Monkey Shoulder.
Yeah.
Get like one of those and then keep like Tanqueray and keep Sapphire. You don't need Beefeater. People who come in and ask for Beefeater are just as happy to drink some other gin. They'll probably be happy to drink the better gin, you know?
Yeah, I don't know why. Unless you're like infusing something, but even then, like, Beefeater's still like, even if you're getting like the case deal, it's still like $27 a bottle.
Yeah.
Like, that's right on the fringe of like specialty cocktail prices of bottles that you're willing to spend on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. Like, we use it for like our, like, we have pretty much like, I don't know what you call it. Like, we have craft wells.
Yeah.
You know, so like Beefeater is like the lowest end thing that you're gonna get from us, but it's not like it's any less expensive than Tanqueray.
Yeah.
Or
well, that's what I'm saying. Just they all exist on the same level. So just pick the ones you want. Like if you have, like you said, if you have a fucking bar where you have unlimited space and you can afford to have 18 bottles of gin just sitting on the shelf, then whatever. But like if I'm running like the thing that's frustrating for me is just like when you are running on that spot where, you know, they're like, oh, we need to cut down on inventory. I'm not going to order that bottle because I don't want to bring that on. You know, I don't want to onboard this, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, then you look around and you're like, I can literally shave like 13 bottles of booze off this bar like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like if you just let me. And that's that's what I was thinking of though. It's like, I'm like down to my like last drop of Empress gin. It's like, I'm just waiting for them to like buy another bottle. I'm going to be like, I fucking hate you people. You know, like. I've been trying to just get rid of this and like get it off the shelf before anyone notices, you know? Yeah, but
that's like to bring up the other point, like that would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
Like you're willing enough to like trust my brain to come up with the cocktails, to manage the bar program, to tell people who to do what, when to do it, how to do it.
Yeah.
But I can't be in charge of like what we're bringing in, or what we're continuing to keep around.
Yeah,
it's just silly to me.
Yeah, we have Chivas and Doers on the bar. I work there 5 out of the 6 nights a week that we're open. I've not picked up either one of those bottles in years.
Yeah. Well,
what are we
You're
doing?
gonna fucking throw. It's not like you're gonna get them into like a specialty cocktail.
I could. Well, I'm just saying I could throw them in. I could throw them together or whatever. Do something where like I can get rid of those bottles.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do that just so you can then buy 3 more bottles of both of them. You know, like if you tell me like if
that Chivas is probably still the same bottle that I was wiping
1,000%. Yeah. Like no doubt about it. Nobody drinks that shit anymore.
Yeah.
Which I used to, when I was drinking, like, that was my drink, actually. I would do Doers and sodas. Fucking quadruple fist those.
Yeah, my grandfather was like a Chivas and Doers guy, so I always tried to, like, replicate that, but I just never could get the taste for scotch.
Yeah. It's a...
I just always hated scotch.
Yeah. It's an old man thing.
Scotch and gin are, like, 2 categories I never got into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gin, I could never get past it. You know what gin always ruined with, like, my days of, like, my first years of drinking? Because back then you'd get like, you know, you'd raid your parents' liquor cabinet. It would be like you'd get like 1 part gin, 1 part Kahlua, 1 part fucking, you know, whatever, triple sec, 1 part vodka. And then we used to just put like 2 scoops of Tang. You remember Tang?
Yeah.
That like orange shit? Just fucking mix it all up and just go. Just fucking get it down. Yeah.
Bro, did you see that thing that I tagged you in on Facebook? Well, I know I tagged you in.
Yeah, you tagged me in a lot of shit.
There was this thing. They're like portraying it as it's like a way for you to make your own vitamins, but it's literally just like a pill press.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it's like a square, right? And it's probably got, I don't know, like a 10 by 10, and you put the capsules in, and then it shows them like dumping powder onto it and like using like a knife to like, you know,
skim it off.
Skim it off. Yeah, and then like it goes together. The top goes in, and you press something, and I'm like, this is not for making vitamins like at all. This is for making Robitussin.
Right.
Like,
yeah. Well, this is 1,000% fucking making fentanyl. Yeah. It's like,
I just saw that and I was like, dude, this is totally what Brennan was up to in prep school. Like if he had got his hands on one of these things. Be rich.
To be clear, I wasn't in on that shit. I was one of the fucking victims. I was buying that shit. Those kids are fucking nuts, though.
I would love
to know where those kids are actually, because they're either like NASA astrophysicists or they're like just straight up dead.
Were you friends with any of these people on MySpace?
No, not really. Like that was like the other, like in boarding school there was like quadrants of people. So it was like that. My dorm wasn't those kids. And all those kids ended up getting thrown out because they were all fucking on drugs like all day long. But yeah, I don't know what happened to those fucking kids.
I've been on the unlocking my MySpace account kick lately because I feel like there's people on there that can unlock the pissing in the ice mystery.
You're really getting to the bottom of this. I feel like you should have a podcast just about your journey into that, it's like a fucking what was that Serial? Remember? Do you ever listen to that podcast? About like the fucking kid in Baltimore who like murdered his girlfriend allegedly.
Nah.
No. All right.
Murder in Baltimore? No way.
I know, right? So unlike them. Yeah.
Dude, I waited on a bunch of people at the airport yesterday, and they're all going to Chicago.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Don't believe what you see in the media. It's not that bad." And like in my head, I'm like, "You're all gonna die."
Yeah, well, were they going north side? I've heard there's a big difference.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they look like they were flying first class, so
Yeah.
wherever the nice side of Chicago
Yeah, exactly. Imagine how like fucking out of touch you have to be like, Chicago's beautiful. It's like, yeah, sure, if you have like a fucking $250,000 a year fucking annual income.
This lady's telling me, she's like, if you ever go, and then she tries to tell me like some fucking like the Civil War and pizza houses.
Yeah.
She's like, everybody's going to tell you to go to this one, but you should really go to this one. And then the other guy's like, oh, I've heard about that one too. Da, 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 da. And that like made me think like, what is the Rhode Island equivalent of that? Like Dells and Mr. Lemon or something like that? I'm going to tell some fucking
autocrat against Eclipse
about what? I'm like, what a bunch of fucking losers you are telling a stranger about what pizza house is better.
Yeah.
I want to be caught dead talking about that. Like I would never, as much as I love Fellini, shout out Fellini, steak and scallion pizza. You're never gonna catch me at an airport. If you ever find your way to Providence, Rhode Island,
go to Fellini's. You know what? I think if you, generally speaking, if you tie like a part of your personality to like the cultural cuisine of your area, you're a fucking weirdo. Like I don't understand that phenomenon. You know,
like dude, you never had wieners off of some guy's arm?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, was that like even? Was that Firehouse? What the hell's that kid? What's that name of that fucking dude?
Onlyville Wieners?
Onlyville, yeah.
Firehouse.
Wasn't there like another one? Or no, that was like the fucking. Is that
like a sub place?
No, I think it was a truck. It was one of the trucks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
One of those trucks.
Yeah. Well, those fucking renegade like Rhode Island hot dog trucks where it was just like some dude like scratching his ass and fucking putting his fucking hot dog in a deep fryer or something. Yeah.
I heard somebody refer to a food truck as a roach coach, and I've been turned off by them ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I would imagine. You know what though? I bet you there a lot of them probably in today's day and age are really like probably hyper fucking inspected.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like restaurants, I can't even remember the last time like our restaurant got like actually health inspected,
Yeah.
Like I bet you they're more strict with the fucking with the roach coaches than they are restaurants.
Probably. I mean, I don't know, man. I haven't seen, especially for like around here, like maybe it's just like the weather and stuff like that, but I haven't seen cockroaches in a restaurant.
No. Well, so I used to work at a spot that had cockroaches.
I've seen like feel like especially in Providence, there's rats. Bro.
Yeah, like, well, anywhere like urban, anywhere where you're close to water, like the river and shit. Yeah, you're gonna get mice. You're gonna get rats. I had a fucking buddy who worked at a spot in corner of Boylston and Newberry in Boston, and over there you have the Charles River, and he sent me a picture of a rat inside of the walk-in. And this thing wasn't even a fucking rat, man. It was a goddamn small...
It was like a chihuahua?
It was like a cat. It was a cat-sized rat. The thing was like that big. And he was like... And when I took a picture of it, it like looked at me and wasn't backing down. He was just like, yeah, I'm in here. Fuck you. Like, what do you want?
I'm eating.
Exactly. Yeah. And from that moment on, I was like, I'm not going to that restaurant again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a thing that there was like a scare at one of the places more recently.
Yep.
And I took some pictures and they're like, yo, those are babies. You know what I mean? So they're like brand new.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I'm telling you, man, like this has to do with like doing like events with like other people. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, I know what you're saying.
I'm
now.
like, you're basically like your front of the house is having unprotected sex with their back of the house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like you don't know what the fuck they're bringing in. Like, they're bringing shit in from fucking outside sources, and it's hanging out in your place for 6 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like, they haven't done too many other events like that. And
yeah.
Hopefully, that's the end of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I never would have thought that would be an issue.
Yeah.
You know, but
that is an issue. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, actually. I used to work at the spot I used to work at, though, that had the cockroaches. I used to be able to, like, you'd eat behind the bar, like, on the fly quick or whatever. You just get, like, a pizza or something. You'd leave it out there and you'd eat it and fucking, while you're serving people. Super unsanitary, but nobody gave a shit, so I did it. But the last time I did it, I fucking literally pick up my piece of pizza. I go to put it in my mouth. A cockroach crawls off my pizza, goes down my hand, and crawls down. Dude. It's like a long sleeve, button down shirt, tie kind of place. Crawls down my sleeve. I throw my pizza on the ground. I start shaking my arm, and I'm like freaking out, like and like literally everybody at the bar just stares at me, and then I'm just like, stretch it out, just walk away. I was like, oh shit,
That's so funny.
It's like fucking cockroach.
Dude,
like,
I would have lost my mind.
Yeah,
dude.
it was fucking gross.
Bugs. I don't fuck with bugs. If
Yeah.
you want to hear me make girl noises, fucking throw a bug on me. I'll fucking lose it. Yeah. Now, all I can think of, like, this whole time we've been talking about this is, like, the sugar water dude from Men in Black.
Oh, yeah.
How he's just, like, walking around with, like, fucking roaches falling on his sleeves and shit. Like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Now, again, like, images of centipedes in my head. I'm really going to be having some dreams tonight.
Yeah. Pest zone restaurant in general, it just, it just comes with the territory. Anywhere you're going to have food in a fucking building by the water in a urban setting, like, it's going to have pests of some sort.
Yeah. I feel like I've been blessed for, like, the biggest problem in my life over the years has been just fruit flies.
Yeah, but those fucking suck too.
They
Those are like
suck for
impossible to get
sure,
rid
but
of.
they're fucking, I feel like they're especially from like guest standpoint, they're more tolerable than roaches, rats. Like you see something like that,
I mean, anybody who's complaining about flies, it's like you just point to the fucking open door next to them, like leading outside on the beautiful sunny day, and be like, that's what happens, man.
But I mean, even I don't understand why it's more difficult to realize, like the rats, mice, whatever you want to call them. It's like if you have a patio where people are going in and out of the restaurant, like things are gonna get inside. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. It's just it's like it's a funny like social stigma. You know, like people they'll get over one thing but not get over another. Like
I have mice in my house. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had a. I assume the dogs would fucking handle that shit real quick.
Well, it's every now and again my cats like fucking end up killing one. Like, you got one.
I used to live above like an auto mechanics shop.
Yeah.
So like obviously they'd have like the bay doors open all the time. You know what I mean? And it was like an older house, and we didn't have dogs. I was a little kid. I was probably in like grade school. And we had cats. My mom had like 3 cats, and they were doing this thing where they would just run into the kitchen, and they couldn't stop themselves from sliding on like the linoleum floor.
Yeah.
And they would crash into the stove, like the side of the stove, and you'd hear it be like, and be like, what the fuck is this? And eventually, my stepdad figured out, be like, dude, there's a little thing of mice that are like coming up from the garage back there.
Yeah.
So we pull it out. You know what I mean? The cats were fucking going crazy, having a field day. Like there was just this little hole in the wall.
Yeah.
But all of them were like getting their paw in there. Like, dude, you're not gonna get them like that.
Well, yeah.
Yo, that brings me to another funny. We lived this place, right? Like you could, like it was like the auto mechanic shop, and then like the house was like above it like that. So you could crawl out like the window that was above the kitchen sink
and be like on the roof
of the auto mechanic thing. So when I was a kid, my mom's friend had her son over, and we were watching like what are the movies with Freddy in it? Friday the 13th. So we're watching that.
I know, Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah.
We're watching that. And my stepdad at the time, he had like a badass like Freddy Krueger costume.
Yeah.
So he puts it on, fucking comes through the window and everything. Dude, that kid, he had like a mental breakdown. He was only like, maybe I was like 6.
Yeah.
I don't know. And he was like 2 or 3 years younger than me. That doesn't make sense.
I was gonna say, if you're watching Nightmare on Elm Street at 4 years old, like you were fucked up anyway.
I started watching Beavis and Butthead when I was in like the 4th grade, though. Too. So my parents gave me a leash.
Yeah,
they're lucky I didn't become a school shooter. They're lucky. But
I mean, at least you would have been in the newspaper.
Yeah, like I'd never seen this kid. Like even my stepdad took the mask off, everything. I'd never seen this kid. Just would not stop having like this fucking panic-laden fucking breakdown. And then years later, we moved to Florida. Yeah. And this is a funny thing. I had this on the spreadsheet. My relationship with the Sasquatch.
Oh my God, yeah, the Bigfoot shit.
When I was a little kid, I would fall asleep watching Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Sasquatch shit on the Unsolved Mysteries, I would have nightmares.
Yeah.
And the Sasquatch would kill my friends in front of me. I'd be watching from the window of like my 3rd-story apartment. And this kid that I would always make fun of, because we liked X-Men, and then Power Rangers came out. We were like, you like Power Rangers, bro? You're fucking whack. And this kid had like a fucking Green Ranger watch.
Yeah.
And like that's how my dream would end. Like the Sasquatch like ripping my friends to shreds. And like that watch would
holding
like come
up the
and,
watch?
No, it would like come and hit my window. And I'd be like, oh my God. So I'm fucking, you know what I mean? I'm young enough to where, like, I'd go in my parents' room crying about how the Sasquatch just killed all my friends.
Yeah.
And, like, not ever are they like, you can't watch that show anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm still fucking watching it. So, fuck, why would the hell? I can't believe I just lost my,
I don't know, you were on the Sasquatch kick.
the Sasquatch killing all my friends and my relationship with the Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
You lost your thread? That's all right.
What a loser. Childhood trauma.
Yeah. I don't think I had any, I can't remember any irrational fears like the fear of Sasquatch in my childhood.
Damn, man, what were we talking about before the Sasquatch? That's unfortunate.
What were we talking about before the Sasquatch?
Something about like reoccurring. It was like a reoccurring dream or something that had me thinking about that. That's unfortunate.
I had a dream once that U2 stole my kidney. Like the band U2. They got me like, we were drinking in a bar or something, and I like blacked out, and I woke up in like a hotel room, like in a fucking bathtub filled with ice.
Bono's talking to you like Conor McGregor.
Yeah, yeah. And then later on in the dream, I found them again on a yacht. And I was just like, you fuck stole my kidney. And they were like, oh, it was just a...
We bought this yacht with it.
It's like, oh, it's just a joke. Lighten up, have a drink. And then I drank again and blacked out, and they stole my other kidney.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude. So
don't trust U2.
Years later, right,
yeah.
I always fucking have this memory of this kid, Joey, fucking losing his mind about the Freddy Krueger prank. Right?
Yes. Right.
So we moved to Florida. Now, I'm paranoid about the Sasquatch. I watched this movie, The Congo. You know this movie?
Yeah, Tim Curry. Yeah.
Like, I didn't, so I've only seen it once, though, because so we live in Florida, right? And we're living in a Florida house where, like, the house is an L, and then, like, the part of the L that would fill in a rectangle is called a lanai. Or a Florida room.
Yeah.
Right? So there's like...
It's like a screened-in indoor porch kind of thing.
Yeah, but usually there's like sliding doors to get you into like every other part of the house. Like the master bedroom had a set of sliding doors, the living room, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my stepdad puts on a fucking monkey mask, right? Comes out of the fucking... Their sliding glass doors and comes up on the living room doors. And he was always like a master of like, he could do like cartoon voices and shit like that. He starts doing his best like fucking monkey.
Yeah, gorilla noise.
Banging on the glass doors. Dude, I feel like I've never been so close to shitting myself in my life, bro. Like, I was so fucking scared, man. I still remember that shit to this day.
Yeah.
My brain was like, don't bring it back. It tried to stop me.
Yeah.
It tried to protect me, but...
See, my mother was always like the kind of woman who would just do like mean and like dickish things to you. Like it was the kind of thing where it would be like 30 degrees outside, like on a snowy morning or whatever. We'd be like on our way to school, and like we had like a long driveway, so she would lock all the doors and then just like inch down the fucking driveway while you're trying to like get into the car. Like, open the fucking door,
That's
Mom.
funny.
Yeah. So no childhood trauma per se, but just an adult in your life just being like constantly being kind of a dick to you, you know? Yeah.
My mom wasn't much of a prankster, but she was a big like, no, because I said so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
those.
you'd be like, yo, I cleaned my room. I was nice all week. I know she's going to let me go sleep over my friend's house.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
Why? No. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I mean, you could use that information when you put her in a home someday.
Yeah, but
like, I don't want to stay here, Ryan.
I think about the times where like I did get to have a sleepover, and it was like, all right, so we're gonna go like ride bikes and steal hood ornaments.
Yeah.
All right. Sweet.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
So maybe she was onto something.
I don't know. They were always very surprised when I got in trouble.
Really?
Like, how? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a bad kid.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
you seem like a degenerate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just noticed your sweet shirt.
Oh yeah. Fucking dare. I don't think they do dare anymore. I think they're just admitting that everybody's going to die of fucking fentanyl overdose.
I wonder if was it really established in 1983?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
They were like, they knew our generation was coming. They were like, all right, we got to do something about this.
Yeah. Actually, I'm reading a book about fentanyl right now, which I don't know. It's kind of wild shit. A lot of it I didn't even know. Like, I guess I just never, because fentanyl like came around like after the fact. Like, I didn't really know anything about it.
After our, like, bad decisions that all played their way out of our lives.
Well, yeah, I mean, fuck, dude. Fentanyl now is, like, in everything. Like, nowadays, like, you can't get a hit of heroin without there being fentanyl in it of some sort. Like, yeah, it's fucking scary.
Stick to the pills, kids.
No, because there's fake pills out there now. Yeah, like, it's wild. Like, I don't know, man. Kids don't get to have fun anymore.
Dude, I remember when I used to do pills, like, every now and then you'd have, like, you'd find a Connect and you'd get, like... they would like shave a little bit off of every pill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With like a razor blade or something. You'd be like, oh, I never seen him with like these octagon edges before.
Yeah.
And it's like, they don't have octagon edges, bro. You fucking got.
Yeah.
And you think about it like, you know what one of those like crushes out into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to like get one out of what? Like you had to do that to like 100 of them?
Right.
Like I can't even imagine that being worth the labor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
it's probably just a little taste for them off the top.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't see how doing all I don't see how that.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I should tell this story because I don't feel like I don't want the homies upstairs to hear it. Maybe I'll save it for next week.
They're fine.
I do recall this time when I was a user. I would hightail it out of TGI Fridays and speed as fast as I could from Attleboro to Providence, and I would go to this guy's house, and he was prescribed these pills because he had back problems, right?
Yeah.
But he never had shoes on. He's kind of overweight and tall and with back problems. So I can feel, you can't reach your toes probably.
Right.
He would have the grossest feet, bro. Just like yellow, overgrown nails, fucking heels full of like rhino skin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, so you'd like basically like you'd just like walk up the stairs. He lived in like it was either a double or triple deck or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he basically like opened the door and like I wouldn't go all the way up the stairs because there was like a ledge right here.
Yeah.
So I'd literally get the drugs and then break one out on this ledge, blow the pill, and then like turn around to stand up, and it would just be like this microcosm of how bad my life had gotten.
Yeah.
With this dude's nasty
His feet are just right in your
my face. Yeah, you know what I mean? And like that was never one time would I turn around and be like, I got to change this up. You know what I mean? Like it would just be like this constant cycle in my life.
Yeah.
Of like me not realizing what I was doing to myself.
It's like reverse OnlyFans. It's like I don't have anything to do with these fucking feet for the rest of my life.
Yeah, and then like he was like how do you view that person going forward? Because he passed away. You know what I mean?
No.
And I was torn on whether or not to be like feel bad for the guy. You know what I mean? Because inherently you kind of feel like this guy's your friend after a while. You know what I mean? He's doing the same drugs you're doing. He's just getting them from a doctor.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I actually met him because his daughter worked at the restaurant.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So like his daughter knew what was up. She knew I was a fucking junkie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when he passed away, I like struggled with like reaching out and being like, "Hey, I heard about your dad. I'm so sorry."
Right.
Or being like, "Hey, fuck you and your whole fucking family." You know what I mean? You like let me ruin my life. What were you thinking?
Yeah.
You know, like.
Well,
but at the end of the day, I feel like for better or worse, like I sided with like the sympathy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I feel like drugs in general just kind of change you. So it's like anything you're doing while you're on drugs, I shouldn't say you get a pass on, but it's the kind of thing where it's like, well, if you give the nicest person in the world a fucking opioid addiction, like you're probably going to do some shit that's heinous.
Yeah.
You know? So it's just it's the fact of the matter. I mean, and that also
he didn't give me the addiction.
Well, I was gonna say at the end of the day, it's like you have to take a little self-responsicy. You were the one showing up at his door with his fucking dirty ass feet. If it wasn't
being bummed out when his prescription had run out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If it wasn't him, it was gonna be somebody else. You know?
And you look at it like, hey, that guy probably kept you safe. He was giving you the
real deal,
legit shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, like I said, that's a fucking thing now. Is like they're fucking pressing pills that say Vicodin on them, but they're fucking they have 30 grams of fentanyl in them, and it's just like fucking baby laxative otherwise, So
what does that book that you were reading, it gives you like the origin story of it?
Well, yeah, so right now I'm on the origin story of it all, but it was basically like a fucking chemist in like the Belgium, like post World War II or whatever, who actually figured out how to synthesize opiates, and because opioids aren't. There's a difference between opiates and opioids. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So opioids are synthetically made opiates, So they don't have any actual organic material in them. They're just completely 100% made in a laboratory.
Yeah.
So the opioids though, that wasn't a thing before that generation. That dude was the first one who figured out how to do it. And the way he had figured it out was what he had intended it to be was fucking anesthesia for surgeries and shit. If you were going under, they were going to amputate your fucking leg. They would use fentanyl to as one of the chemical compounds. But now the reason that like it's so fucking hard to like nail that shit down though is because the way it works is all you have to do is just change like one little molecule and it's a whole new thing. So what was happening was like you could literally have like a fucking suitcase filled with fentanyl, like as long as it was like a certain compound that wasn't yet legally regulated.
Yeah.
So like you could just fucking make it like, China has factories because of like how far they are behind in like the fucking like legalization of it or delegalization of it. They have like factories that are just like, yeah, we just make this compound of fentanyl. It's like, oh, what do you do with it? It's like we ship it into the United States and they sell it to fucking idiots. You know? So yeah, it's fucking wild though. I didn't realize like how fucking huge of a business it is, and also how long it's been around. Like it's been around for a while, and it's just been recently though that because of like the lack of like access to like good prescription medication, and then basically the downfall of like all of what was going on in our days, like heroin, oxycodone, like all that shit, like the lack of accessibility of that led to the rise of fentanyl.
The war on drugs.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Actually, 100%, because MDMA, MDMA was originally made to be like almost like an antidepressant. Like they were like they found like good qualities like of like people who take that are generally like happier, people or whatever. I mean, I don't buy into that shit really, but it at the end of the day it does work. But when they cracked down on all of like the factories in like Cambodia and fucking Thailand, I think it was. But they cracked down on all of like the factories that make like one of the chemical precursors, and they dried out the whole market for MDMA. That's when like a lot of other designer drugs, like these ones fucking made with like fentanyl and shit, like came to rise because that rave culture that was using MDMA all of a sudden didn't have that. Yeah. So like the next wave of drugs came in. So actually, yeah, this was kind of almost like directly related to like
the war on drugs.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah. It's nuts though, and it's fucking everywhere.
It's great. There's so many times where like I remember I went to Vegas as a young kid, and I was probably the youngest one out of all my friends.
Yeah,
and everybody else that was there was like some kind of like drug dealer, or like they had turned their drug money into like doing real estate or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm just like this fucking like I'm a friend of this drug dealer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I remember, like, we'd go out every night trying to find drugs, and I would always be the one to volunteer. Like, I'll do it first.
Yeah.
Let me see. You know what I mean? And it's just like, there are times where, like, somebody else had tried it. I'm like, I don't fucking believe you. Let me do, like, 6 lines just to make sure. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like that behavior nowadays, I would be dead.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
you would have been dead in an hour.
Be dead quickly. And it's just like, that was only what? Like, not even 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you could just freely snort strangers' drugs and be like, I'm not gonna die from this.
Well, yeah, it's
maybe
so
this coke might be meth, but I'm not gonna die.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, that's just it too. Is because of how available the shit is. It's like dirt cheap. So it's like you could put fentanyl in fucking anything and like call it whatever you want.
Like, there's fentanyl in weed and stuff now.
Oh, there's fentanyl in everything. Yeah. I mean, like literally, I think there was maybe there wasn't a stat attached, but they basically said like if you're doing heroin in the United States today, like almost every hit of heroin you're doing has fentanyl in it.
Yeah. At one of my spots, there's like a suspicion that some people may be partaking in the black market side of things. You know what I mean? So like, I got out of my truck. I looked down on the ground. There's like a little fucking square drug bag. You know what I mean? It was empty or whatever, but I just made like a funny little movie and like sent it to my wife, like, welcome to the wherever it was. You know what I mean? I just like zoomed in on it and wrote like just a funny little video. My wife like calls me and she's like, don't even touch it. You could die. Like she's like been watching the news about the epidemic. You know what I mean?
I mean, she's right.
She's right, but I was like, babe, like what would make you ever think that I would touch it?
Like you're gonna pick it up and like lick it?
Not lick it. But I mean, I guess if you touch it, it can be fatal too. But I don't know. It's not like you got the wrong brother.
Yeah.
Like maybe my brother might pick it up just because of his Captain Planet urges.
Yeah.
And being like, I don't want to see that plastic make its way into the ocean. But
or I mean, I guess thered be a part of me that would be like, I don't want like then some little kid to pick it up, you know. But
I guess I didn't have any type of paternal instincts kicking in. I was like, let me make a funny little video.
That's why I have kids and you don't.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I don't know. If Jesus is behind everything, I think he knew what was up.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, we don't. This is a monstrosity to begin with.
Yeah.
Who mixed these chemicals together?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in classic form, it's, people trying to do the right thing, and then people get a hold of it and make it the wrong thing. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard some other thing about like the original use of Coke back in the day is they would give it to like the farm animals.
Really?
Yeah, like if they were gonna like I don't know what, maybe it was like cows or horses, like whoever would drag like plows.
Yeah.
Like before the industrial
that makes sense.
Before the Industrial Revolution, you know what I mean? So they would just literally get
hop these
their
fucking horses
livestock
up
all,
with,
like that. How funny is that, dude? Like. And then, like, the other side of things is, like, ketamine, which is, like, a horse tranquilizer.
Yeah.
It's like, did you have to invent ketamine because you were just getting your horse all fucking coked up? And he's like, 6 hours.
We gotta balance this fucking thing out.
6 hours of plow work wasn't enough to fucking chill his boner out. And you're like, dude, I gotta get this guy to fucking calm down.
This horse's heart's racing.
Yeah. You're like, I don't know, man. I took one of those horse tranquilizers. I woke up with a sore ass. I don't know what to tell you.
They've started using ketamine for a antidepressant too. Actually,
I heard that.
Yeah,
I've never done ketamine on its own.
Yeah,
I've only done ketamine while under the influence
of other drugs,
MDMA,
yeah,
ecstasy. And that's another good one. Like ecstasy, they supposedly used to have like Drano and cat litter.
Oh yeah,
none of that shit will kill you.
No, well, actually,
Chinese fentanyl.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, that's what's happening. Basically, it's like the old compound that we used to take, like. The risk of overdose was like so minimal because it was like kind of like a very like targeted like not controlled substance, but you know what I mean? Like it was a very like what it was set out to do is what it did, you know? And then the cutters that they would, the fucking fillers that they would put in it would be relatively harmless. But yeah, now if they're, they're using like fucking mostly fentanyl and shit, and it's like, yeah, you're going to die if you fucking are taking ecstasy.
That just gave me like a cool idea for like a drink. Like if you could somehow like condense a cocktail into like a pill, that just looked like an old school fucking roll.
Yeah,
I feel like that'd be a big hit.
Well, I mean, I do feel like what the bar world is missing in general is the inherent risk of dying of a fentanyl overdose.
Yeah,
how many bartenders do you know? Like, maybe have a couple pills in their fucking pocketbook and like might get one mixed up with the other.
What about that? Do you ever have this urban legend go around of like a kid that fell into like a pool with a bunch of acid on him, and then he thought he was a glass of orange juice?
Well, I've heard of the glass of orange juice. Like,
have you? Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I went to high school in Florida.
Yeah.
And we were in our psychology class. We were supposed to take a field trip.
Yeah.
To like a mental hospital.
Yeah.
To observe like these fucking cases.
Yeah.
And the teacher told us that there was a guy there that thought that he was a glass of orange juice. So either that's like the actual origin story of this.
It's probably just the teacher
like,
fucking with you.
The teacher is so far into like the urban legend that he thinks that that's fucking real.
Yeah.
Like.
I don't know. I've seen people who eat a lot of acid and like totally burn themselves out and are just like whack jobs now. But
yeah, but like this is like a story of like a dude having like 100 hits in his pocket and like them all absorbing into his skin. Like 100 hits of acid at one time, that's got to have like a fucking life altering effect.
Oh, for sure.
At the very least.
Well, I think at that point in time, you just probably become a vegetable. Like, I don't think you think you're fucking anything after that.
Yeah, you're like a ray of light.
Yeah,
traveling the universe.
Yeah, you're a fucking meat skeleton. Yeah, I don't know. I was never an acid guy. I've taken acid a few times, and every time I did, it was I shouldn't say every time. Actually, the first few were like really fun. But you know what it is like the moment you have the one bad trip, I feel like I was never strong enough mentally to stop the dark cloud. You know what I mean?
That's what my problem with it is now.
Yeah,
like I can't.
Yeah, because first of all, if anyone dosed me, I would fucking kill them. Because like I'm not ready. I'm not in the mindset to fucking do that shit anymore. Like
I think that would be the only way I could do it.
Yeah, well,
like if all of a sudden I was like, "Yo, who did this to me?"
No, I don't know. I would freak the fuck out immediately.
I don't think you would know though. Like, I think you would have like a solid you'd be having a great fucking time.
I don't know.
And then like all of a sudden you'd be like, "Oh, I'm on drugs."
Yeah. Acid also lasted way too long. Like I just hated that. Like
I never had a good experience with it. I feel like it was always like old, or like I feel like a lot of people used to tell you to keep it in the freezer or something. Like I just feel like it was never kept in like the wine closet.
Yeah,
like it should have been. Like.
Well,
I've had my ass kicked on a lot of other stuff like in that category, but straight like strips or anything, like they just never whacked me like I thought that they would.
Well, and also you can never tell the potency. Like it was one of those things where it was like you almost had to go into it every single time. Like I don't know how I'm about to roll with this.
Yeah.
The one time though I did eat too much acid, like, and it was probably that was the That was the trip that probably ruined acid for me for the rest of my life. But I was fixated on like picking at my teeth. You know, I was just kind of sitting there digging at my teeth, just tripping balls, just digging at my teeth, and I was tripping balls. But I wasn't coherent enough to realize, like, hey man, you should probably relax with the whole teeth thing. So I go into the bathroom and, everything's fucking melting and fucking moving and shit. And I look in the mirror and I have blood streaming down my mouth onto my shirt. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? It's like, my brain is hemorrhaging. I'm dying. And then for basically the rest of the night, I like was in my underwear outside, just like waiting to die. It's like, oh my God. Yeah. But at that moment I was like,
were they tidy whities?
They're boxers. Yeah. But that's just it. You don't want to die in your underwear on your buddy's porch with blood all over your face. It's like,
was it even blood or was it just the acid? Well,
no, it was blood because I was just picking at my fucking teeth.
Yeah, but was it really like all the way down?
Oh,
probably not.
Probably
right?
not.
Yeah,
no, yeah. At the very least, I saw blood in my mouth and started being like, my brain is fucking hemorrhaging. I'm dying. So, yeah. Then I proceeded to freak everyone else the fuck out who,
they were having a good time.
Well, they were having a good time. And that was one of those things where they're like, I don't know, man, maybe you should just like go outside for a little while. It's like, the next day I wake up and I'm just like, you guys are fucking, I thought I was dying and you told me to go outside. That's friendship when you're fucking 17.
Why don't you just like excommunicate yourself from our group?
Exactly.
Bro?
It's like, why don't you go wander in the woods and get eaten by a fucking bear?
Bad vibes.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to like have a strong mental fortitude though to handle like psychedelics like that, and I just never really. I'm too much of a fucking worrier, Not even a worrier. I'm just always in my own head, Like I feel like you have to have that fucking ability to just like let go of the wheel, and I never could. And if you try to fight it, like it does not go well, Yeah.
I don't know. I prefer to be like outside when under that influence.
Yeah.
Like anytime we would just be in the house, I'd be like, dude, this is fucking bad.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's another thing too. Is the bulk of my drug taking days were in a fucking boarding school
dorm room.
Yeah, so it was like it's not conducive for like wandering around. So you did feel very like confined in that area.
I do. I have another good story. This is a secondhand story because I wasn't there.
Yeah,
but this was like maybe like the freshman break or sophomore break from school. I think it's freshman break from school, and like all my new friends that I met in school were all from like South Jersey area. So they go home and there's like this I forget what it was called, but it was like this legendary concert that went around at the time. It was like Metallica, Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park. I think Ted Nugent was there too. Like I don't know. It's just like this bunch
of
like,
a who's who of pieces of shit.
Yes, yeah, like yes, every sign your 13-year-old daughter away from me to go on tour with a group of men. And so my boys, I just remember being jealous, like, damn, they got to go to this, because I still stayed in Florida at the time, and I think it was only in, like, Miami.
Yeah.
And I just, at that point in my life, there was no way I was taking, like, a road trip to Miami and all this shit, you know what I mean? So I was like, damn, I can't believe these guys get to go. So they went, and I guess, like, one of the concert shirts was, like, a tie-dye shirt.
Yeah.
Right? So it starts raining out at the show. The tie-dye shirt, the ink from it starts running down these guys' arms.
Yeah.
So they're all fucked up on mushrooms, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, we're fucking turning blue and fucking pro. They don't realize that it's the ink from the shirt.
Yeah.
They're all fucking freaking out. They leave the show early. You know what I mean? I think they only saw like the opener.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even like one of like the acts that you went there to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just remember them telling me this story, like, what?
Yeah.
No fucking way, dude. And they're like, literally, like once we left the stadium, when we get in the car, like one of us figured it out. And it was like, yo, it's just the ink. And
they could get back in?
Everybody calmed down. No re-entry. Yeah, they were fucked. Like,
that sucks.
Yeah. I was like, damn, Joe. That might have been like the first time of me hearing where like drugs ruined
your good time.
Yeah. You're like, nah, man, you just have good times. There's drugs around. Like, it's nothing but good times.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in a group of people taking mushrooms, there had to have been the voice of reason that was like, hey guys, is it possible that because we're on a bunch of fucking mushrooms, we're maybe overreacting to the situation?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was.
Is it possible we're not the first human beings in the world to be turning blue?
It might only be like three or four of them that were there, so not too much brain power.
Yeah, mushrooms are fun.
I went to visit that neighborhood once, and I do remember thinking that it was like the like everybody's dad was Tony Soprano.
Yeah, one of those.
Like, what do you guys do for like all these like nice houses?
Everybody's in waste management
and like a cul-de-sac. Yeah, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
This doesn't add up.
And it was also like my first experience with seeing like somebody's like mom turn out to be like the lady from Requiem for a Dream.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, just like this pilled out, gone lady.
Yeah.
Like, yo, that's your mom, bro?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
She can't even take care of herself. She's taking care of you.
Yeah, she's just like wandering around being fucking weird, dude.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and I mean, this kid's like 19, 20 years old at the time. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you know, like we went to this kid's house and like we like 8 of us all took like mushrooms.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, whatever. She's never gonna fucking. No, yeah, it was like unfathomable, dude.
Yeah.
Especially with like my mom would always try to like have me like under her thumb. You know, I'd be like, we're just gonna eat mushrooms here when your mom's home.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we all had that buddy though whose like parents were like either not involved at all or like way too cool. And at the time you're like, this is awesome. And now as a grown adult, you're like, yo, what the fuck was happening at that house? You know? Actually, yeah. Nah, I won't say it. Actually, he's like probably like my best friend growing up, and he's actually a great guy. But he had like a weird situation at home with like his mom. I think it was more like
Did his
depression, maybe?
Did his mom get wasted and try to fuck all of his friends?
No. At the opposite. She was just the kind of person where like you would just show up at their house and it would just be him living there, and you'd be like, "Where's your mom?" Like, well, she's up in her room, like the
never
entire
come
time.
home to say hi. Yeah.
So I think it was kind of like a depression kind of thing, but you know, but he turned out fine. He turned out great, actually. He's an awesome dude. But I do also have friends that like, you know, their parents were like, you know, oh, his dad's fucking awesome, blah blah blah. He gets drunk with us, he fucking gets high with us, and it's like, yeah, well now he's doing like 12 years in prison. You know, it's like, well, that tracks. You know.
Yeah, I never had like the cool dad, but I had my best friend.
Yeah.
My best friend growing up, like his mom was like the cool mom. Like, I don't care what you guys do, just stay here, don't drive.
Yeah.
And then, like, eventually, like, she started fucking smoking and drinking with us and shit. And she'd be, like, telling us stories from her childhood.
Yeah.
He'd be like, Jesus, lady, like, your fucking kids are right here. You know what I mean? And then, like, she'd get, like, a little handsy and stuff. And you're like, yeah. And then, like, I remember I went down to his wedding, you know, 15 years later or whatever.
Yeah.
And it winds up in a hotel room where like smoking bongs and drinking afterwards and shit. And she's like fucking rubbing the boy's shoulders and shit. And I'm like, lady, like, holy shit. I'm like, your new husband's right here. Like, you don't give a fuck.
70.
You don't give a fuck about anything. I think she had some new titties too. Like, yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah. I was just like, holy Christ, lady.
Yeah, no, we did have like a lot of like parents who would like go out and get fucked up with like all of like the 20-year-olds because we were like a very small town that was also very like towny town. So it was like multi-generational like fuck ups, you know?
Yeah.
So it'd be the kind of thing where you'd go out to a party and there would just be like a 54-year-old dude named Wendell rolling around and you're like, what's up, Wendell?
He's not gonna tell.
Yeah, exactly, you know. But but because of that though, and they were all like kind of like I think I've mentioned this before. They were all weirdly related. Like there was like one family who kind of like was the branch family of like 5 other families, and all of the cousins and everything like basically like made up 20% of this entire town.
Yeah.
You know. So like we would just all be like at these parties where all of these rotating groups of like multi-generational fucking drug addicts and miscreants would be hanging out. But yeah, coming to like not an area, but like my wife's family is very like kind of like very straight, narrow. Like everybody's like a go-getter. You know, I have a lawyer and like a fucking cop and you know, whatever. Like everyone's like a good, upstanding citizen or whatever. And then the age of Facebook and everything, like I have nieces and nephews who are friends with me on Facebook. So I had a buddy of mine who like reached out to me on Facebook, like before anyone really knew how to use Facebook, the kind of thing where like posted it on my wall. You know, he was just like found me, posted on my wall. He's like, hey, you know, everyone called me Skip. Hey, Skip, I just got out of jail for blah, 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 and yada, yada. And hey, do you want to do something or hang out sometime?
There should have been a direct message.
I was like, dude, I have nieces and nephews who I do not want to be explaining to that, like, I have, like, friends who were in jail for multiple years.
That's hilarious.
You know? Yeah, it's like, fucking chill with that shit, dude. But anyway, shout out to Jojo Linus. Anyway.
That puts my Joe Jefferson story to rest.
Who's Joe Jefferson?
That's the kid. Did that make it to the pod? The kid that had like the early film yourself, the early OnlyFans kind of situation.
Did it not?
I think it did.
Yeah, I think it did. Yeah.
But that's his name. That's his name. Joe Jefferson, I think.
Oh, that's his porn name.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
He lived in a place called Jefferson Commons.
Yeah.
Maybe I have his first. It's a J. It's a J first name. I don't know what it would be besides
Jeff Jefferson. That'd be.
It might be Jeff Jefferson.
Yeah.
It might be. Maybe the alliteration.
Yeah.
But you're not going to see my man's face.
Yeah. That's all right. I don't. Yeah.
And if we
I
didn't,
just need to see his hog.
While we're on the drug tales, that dude was like an inspiration. I've never seen anybody have so much fun on ecstasy.
Yeah.
In my entire life, like he lived in this quad where I would always try to piss in everybody's closet when I would get fucked up.
Yeah.
And I just remember like I walk in there and he'd be like just in gym shorts, sweating his ass off with glow sticks, looking at himself in the mirror. I'd be like, dude, this kid has the best time. Like,
so he would be by himself?
Yeah, like he didn't need any type of interaction whatsoever.
Yeah.
Just straight vibes and a mirror with some glow sticks.
I feel like ecstasy, you always wanted to have somebody who was on the same level as you.
Yeah,
you know?
you got to tell somebody you love them.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
This
otherwise
kid was
you
like,
just
I love
be
myself, bro. I love watching how I do glow sticks.
I mean, honestly, that sounds like that might be the healthiest way I've ever heard of anyone taking ecstasy. You know, good for him. What a fucking guy. You know. Yeah, I mean,
What
I
about,
feel like
you ever do it? You ever make any terrible decisions to do some substances at work?
What do you mean that work?
Like the first time I ever had like actual Molly, like I ate it at work, thinking it'd be,
at
like,
work.
no big deal.
Oh.
Yeah, like they're like, oh, it's like diet ecstasy. I'm like, oh, okay, I can do this here.
And
like,
spoiler alert, it's not. Yeah.
4 hours
It's
into
like-
it, I was like begging the girl that was on an open volume to work like an open close. I was like, please, I'll give you whatever you want.
I can't
be
outta
here anymore. Yeah.
No.
Shout out to Cherie because she hooked it up and let me out of there.
Yeah, no. By the time I was like in my drinking phase of, yes, sure. Like at work in sense of like when I was like a teenager and had like odd jobs that like I probably, if I got too fucked up, I would just quit. Like those kind of jobs.
Yeah.
But like in terms of like restaurant gigs and bartending, I was done doing drugs by the time I started bartending. I mean, there was a couple nights where I was probably drinking and probably too much.
Dude, there are times.
But yeah.
At the Red Lobster where the dude peed in the ice. This is terrible because I'm just putting this together now, but we would always like they'd make us like shifty Long Island iced teas.
Yeah,
probably like Long Island iced peas.
Yeah,
and so
brother.
So I'd literally be like, and anybody who knows like the differences between Xanax, I'm not talking about footballs, I'm talking about bars.
Yeah.
So like I'd literally like look at my friend who was like he was a year younger than me, but he was like my real good friend.
Yeah,
I'd be like, hey man, like I had like 3 shifty Long Islands and like I snorted a Xanny bar. Can you just make sure like my section's good?
Yeah.
And like the next day he'd be like, bro, you didn't do anything, dude.
Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck? And I'd be like, nah, man, I left that place tip top. He'd be like, you're lucky you even made it on the drive home.
I think
dude.
there's drool all over the floor.
Yeah. And I would have like the party house too. So like they literally would like hope I would still be awake by the time they got out of work and be like, all right, beer pong.
Yeah.
I'd be like, that shit makes you angry. Like blacking out on Xanax and drinking.
Yeah.
Like the night would just end. Like if I got like kicked off like the beer pong table, I would just like
clear it off,
fucking smash all the bottles onto the ground. You know what I mean? I would just wake up in like this fucking destruction zone and be like.
Yeah, you wake up and you're like, what fucking animal was here last night?
Dude,
like, you were the animal that was here.
Proud of myself.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, dude, last night was fucking awesome. And then he'd be like, dude, like even Steve-O doesn't even think this is cool anymore, Ryan. Like, can you stop?
Well, I was just saying, it came to the point with me where like getting blackout drunk was just like sad. And like, you know, it's like there's nothing cool or fun about it, you know?
My dad was talking about like a younger person in my family like getting blackout too much and shit, and it made me think about this article that I read or something that I watched, and it's like it said basically like if you start blacking out, like there's a percentage of people whose brains are like, all right, I know where this is going, and you start blacking out progressively quicker and quicker, and I feel like that's where I was at the end of my rope when it came to drinking. Yeah. Because I'd be like, dude, like, I didn't even get that fucked up last night. Like, why don't I remember the events of the night? Yeah. And it's like, I think I was just...
Yeah, you just...
Like, my brain was just like, nah, bro. Like, from the second you put that first, like, strong-ass, like, fucking Tito's and grapefruit in my face, that was it.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically your brain being like, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to save you an entire lifetime of regret and shame. Like, we're just going to brown out for a little bit, you know?
I don't have the mental fortitude or the ATP left to process your brain right now. So here's some TV static instead.
Yeah, no. I feel like for every one time that I got blackout drunk and the stories the next day were funny, there was like 3 times where I got blackout drunk and the stories the next day were like, ugh, I'm pretty embarrassed about that.
Now I feel like they're cringe, but like back in the day, like I would be like, fuck yeah, dude. Dude, you want to know the worst? I don't know if I ever told this story, maybe on a lost episode or not, but we're in like this, I lived in Tampa at the time, and we went to like Halloween Horror Nights. I forget if it was in Tampa, or if it was in Orlando or something, but we like all chipped in to get like this, like, it was like a party bus. Smaller than a party bus. Maybe it was like a limo or some shit like that. Or like a stretched, like, I forget what it was because it was all fucked up.
Yeah.
So we go there. I like instantly get kicked out of the place for like underage drinking. You know what I mean? I don't know what. I have some guy buy me a beer. I forget to take like my underage wristband off or something. Somebody sees me drinking, or I'm drinking without a wristband, whatever it is. They call me out of the crowd. I can't produce a valid ID. I'm kicked out. So now I just go back. I forget if like the vehicle was there still or whatever it was. I must have went there and passed out, right? So now my friends had their fun. They come back. They all got back in the car with me, right?
Yeah.
So I think they kind of just like sat me up like Weekend at Bernie's, you know what I mean? So I got like my arms around people, right? So my friend, this one kid's my friend. This other girl I thought was my friend, but I'm going to portray quickly that she's not. They're a couple at the time, right?
Yeah.
So she thinks that she's being kinky with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Right? And she's sucking on my fingers. Right, because I got like, so she's confused about like who she's fucking.
Yeah, whose arm is whose? Yeah.
I don't think that it's her. I think that it's this other single girl.
Yeah.
Right. So now we get off the bus, and I'm like pressing this single girl, thinking she's down.
She's just
to
sucking
get
my fingers. Yeah.
Like she's down for the business. So and the next day I wake up, my friends are like, Ryan, we've really fucking, you know what I mean? They like give me like, you fucking were inappropriate with this girl last night. Da 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 da. And I'm like, dude, there's no way, dude. Like, she was fucking feeling me. I'm telling you, like, and they're like, no, no way, dude.
Yeah, incorrect.
So, like, I think like 2 years go by until I get the real story. So I walked around for like 2 years thinking that I got fucked up enough to like press myself on like a girl like this, thinking that I'm a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
And really, the story is that the girl just doesn't want to tell her mans
that she was licking up on your fucking
what
fingers.
What really happened? Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's like it took like these 4 guys all used to live in a quad, and then I ended up being roommates with one of those guys in the quad.
Yeah.
So like he got the business, and I guess he felt he was actually like an escaped Mormon. His family would come to our apartment, and it would be fucking trashed. Bongs on the table, beer bottles, you know what I mean? Probably lines broke out and shit. Like, they'd come in and try to be like, brother, you need to come home. He'd be like, I'm not fucking coming home. But anyway, whatever, the goodness of his Mormon heart, he got the dirt.
Yeah.
And then finally was like, yo, Rye, I know this has been fucking with you for a long time. Like, here's the actual story.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
So you thought you were just like getting drunk and sexually assaulting people?
Yeah, I thought I was a piece of shit for like 2 years. I thought I was a piece of shit. You know what I mean? I would think about that in my dark times. Be like, you're a fucking, you should kill yourself. Like this is a mark on why you should do it, Ryan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Damn.
And really, it was shout out to my girl Jess. I appreciate you being so truthful about that.
Yeah. Well,
but
was she definitely doing it on accident, or was she just?
We never had like
any words about it. Yeah.
Not even like not like any words about it, but like like I never talked to her boyfriend about it.
Yeah.
I never talked to her about it. But what I'm saying is though is like her and I never had like a thing.
Yeah.
Like it was never like, oh, if we were single or blah, you know what I mean? We never had like a flirtatious anything. So, but actually years later, I'm working in Providence at Uno's in the Providence Place Mall, and the girl who I sexually assaulted, not really, but you know, I was fucking trying to make out with her. She fucking
comes in.
Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? So we've like, 10, 15 years later, we finally have like a coming to grips with it. Be like, yo, you know what happened that night, right?
Yeah.
And she didn't know either. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So all right. So you got a little bit of redemption on that.
A little bit of redemption.
Yeah.
But who knows? She's probably like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure thing, scumbag.
Sure thing, creepo.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been a creep a few times, so I get it.
But I wasn't being a creep.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think I got to cut it there.
Cool.
Yeah. Good talk though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Covered fentanyl. We covered kids. I mean, what do you need more than that?
I'm trying to think.
Kids and controlled substances.
Got a Weekend at Bernie's reference.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing all right.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to rewatch the edit to come up with a good name for this one.
Yeah. All right, man.
All right. That's it. Enjoy your time at the beach.
I will.
Episode 9 in the books.
Like, follow, subscribe.
Yeah. We'll see you next week. I don't got any 10s, so.
All right.
Peace.
Later.